What does horror look like when it crosses borders, resurrects legends, and revives one of the biggest parody franchises of all time? This is The Final Cut, your daily pulse in horror. I'm your host, Travis, and today's lineup is a perfect start to the week. A brand new Stephen King adaptation hits AFM, a groundbreaking U.S. Yakut folk horror co-production brings shamanism to the global stage, and Scary Movie 6 continues to stack its cast with fan favorite comedy killers. Let's dive in. First up, a fresh Stephen King adaptation has entered the AFM slate, and this one digs deep into aging morality and the ghosts we create ourselves. Intrinsic Value Films is developing Mr. Yummy, adapted from the King short story of the same name. Described as a haunting tale, the story follows an aging man confronting death as a literal presence, where every regret becomes a specter that refuses to let go. The screenplay is by Troy Blake, with Thomas Mahoney producing. Intrinsic Value says this project marks a new chapter in positioning their company as a recognizable brand, emphasizing story-first filmmaking and meaningful collaboration. For King fans, Mr. Yummy is one of his more intimate, philosophical horrors, and seeing it get the feature treatment opens the door to a moodier, character-driven AFM contender. My question for you guys is, do you prefer Stephen King adaptations that are big and supernatural, or smaller, character-driven nightmares like The Mist and Gerald's Game? Let us know your answers in the comments ahead. Next up, in one of the most exciting international deals at AFM, Saddam Baral and Argentic Productions have teamed up to co-produce Thaw, a folk horror feature from celebrated Yakutian filmmaker Stepan Bernyshev. The film takes place in a remote village in Yakutia, where American documentarian studying thawing permafrost becomes entangled in the shamanic initiation of a teenager named Sardana. Bernyshev describes the story as a cultural collision between Western exorcism mindsets and Saka traditions, where spiritual awakenings aren't seen as possessions but callings. Producers say Thaw blends climate science, indigenous mythology, and psychological horror into something rarely seen at this scale. The project aims for a festival debut in late 2026 or early 2027 with a global theatrical plan. This marks the first narrative co-production between an American company and a Yakut film outfit, a major milestone for Saka cinema, which has been rising rapidly on the international stage. My question for you guys is, how do you feel about horror that's rooted in specific cultural traditions? Does it make the story scarier, richer, or both? Let us know your answers in the comments ahead. Today's stories show how wide the horror spectrum really is. A quiet, existential Stephen King adaptation, a cultural folk horror milestone bridging two continents, and a massive comedy horror reboot bringing legacy stars back together. Horror isn't just evolving, it's branching in every direction at once. Which headline grabbed you the most today? Mr. Yummy, Thaw, or the Scary Movie 6 cast updates? If you got a groundbreaking horror news or insider tips, don't hesitate to DM us at HMUNCUT. Your scoop could be featured on the next show, and don't forget to vote on today's Spotify poll question. And finally, the Scary Movie reboot just got a major nostalgia injection. New cast announcements include Damon Wayans Jr., Kim Wayans, and Heidi Gardner. Joining an already stacked list of returning legends, Sherry Attier, Chris Elliott, Lachlan Moreau, Dave Sheridan, and John Abrahams. They'll star alongside previously announced leads Marlon Wayans, Sean, Regina Hall, and Anna Faris, marking the franchise's biggest reunion since the early 2000s. Directed by Michael Tidis, with a script from the Wayans family, Scary Movie 6 is currently filming and will release globally on June 12, 2026 through Paramount. New cast members include Olivia Rose Keegan, Savannah Lee Nassif, Cameron Scott Roberts, Sydney Park, Greg Wayans, and more, setting the stage for a reboot that blends new-gen satire with classic scary movie madness. My question for you guys is, are you excited for a scary movie revival, or do horror parodies need a fresh approach in 2025? Let me know your answers in the comments ahead. Today's stories show how wide the horror spectrum really is. A quiet, existential Stephen King adaptation, a cultural folk horror milestone bridging two continents, and a massive comedy horror reboot bringing legacy stars back together. Horror isn't just evolving, it's branching in every direction at once. Which headline grabbed you the most today? Mr. Yummy, Thaw, or the Scary Movie 6 cast updates? If you got a groundbreaking horror news or insider tips, don't hesitate to DM us at HMUNCUT. Your scoop could be featured on the next show. And don't forget to vote on today's Spotify poll question. That's it for today's episode of The Final Cut, your daily post in horror. I'm your host, Travis, of course. You guys know what to do. Stay curious, stay weird. We'll be back tomorrow with more headlines. Make sure you hit that like, follow, and subscribe. Had a few new subscribers this weekend. Welcome to the show. Spread the word on The Final Cut so we can build this damn thing. Okay? There's a couple more things that I want to do, but I'm still going to keep it straightforward just like we are. But spread the word, okay? Till then, guys, you guys know the drill. I'll see you tomorrow. Keep the lights on.